Now then, welcome to the latest instalment of RedArmy.tv. Bit of a strange week this week, hasn't it been? Devoid of Borough talk, devoid of Borough action. It's been an international week, at least England didn't lose, that's the good thing. In the studio with me, Alan Puttick on the wing.
Hi.
Wearing a Wolf Mannion top.
Oh yes,
nice to have you.
Thank
And
you.
Graham Ridley, who's wearing another top. It looks like you've just walked through Priestfields, mate, and me and my mates have all just scrolled our names on.
Down by where you used to live, Dave. Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Go on, tell us. We'll do details of the shirts.
It's actually an Ugo Ekiog Premier shirt.
It's one he played in.
It is indeed.
Fantastic.
God bless him. But as you say, scrolled on by a number of our fantastic ex-players on there. We've got Boxic and we've got Merson, to name just a few.
I see Coops as well.
Coops is up there, absolutely.
There. Oh, yeah.
Pally might have even nipped in, you know.
Yeah.
He might have even nipped in there.
But Sir Wilf, bless him.
On the 73 version.
On the 73 shirt.
Yes.
Magnificent, look at that. Great player.
Great player.
Great international. Great stalwart for the Borough as well. And my mum still argues with me, though I say Janino's the best player I've ever seen in a Borough shirt. She says, nah, not a patch on Wilfie.
Absolutely.
You got to know Wilfie, didn't you?
Got to know him quite well, Dave. Yeah, really nice guy. Did quite a lot for, as you know, for local football. I was involved in Yarmtown Boys a long time ago, and he was always there on the trophy nights with his ever-faithful companion, right-hand man, Albert Lanny.
Albert Lanny,
fantastic
from Lanny's Ices.
Absolutely.
I got to know the pair of them towards the end of Wilf's life. Bless them. Bless the pair of them. Fellas, we're talking footy, and with us tonight, lots of people. Ian James Smith's with us. Good evening. We're all feeling confident for Friday.
Yes.
I suppose it's a good question to throw at you. Are you feeling confident? Wolves?
Yes.
Top of the table. Coming to the Riverside?
Yes.
Full of confidence?
Yes.
You're still feeling confident? I'm trying to knock you.
No, I just think we always perform better against the better teams. The pressure's off. You know, everybody's probably expecting the Wolves to at least draw. So I think we can sneak a win.
Even though we've got this great record about teams in the bottom half, Graham, are you confident?
I'm a lot more confident now, Dave, in where we are in terms of the table and under Tony Pulis than I was 15, 20 games ago. And as Alan says, we do tend to really turn up against the better teams. Look, we've got nothing to lose. Why don't we just go for it? You know, the form has been good of late. You know, a little bit of a setback at our friends down the road there, up the road, should we say. We should have been on a five wins on the belt. There we go, but you know, the guys have been in great form. It's a shame we had the international break in some respects because our little man Traore and obviously Bamford have been playing out the skin. But you know, let's see how it goes. We've got to go for it, I think. Now's a great chance. We've got three games against the teams up in the above us. Take some points off them, and who knows where we are. We're in form. We're looking decent. Why can't we do a Huddersfield?
It's an interesting one. You mentioned Traore there. We've got Kilty, haven't we, locally? Was he the Teesside Tornado? We must be able to call Traore something to do with the Tornado because he's just as blooming quick.
Isn't he just?
International duty it's been. I mean, it's a horrible time when you're a mad Borough fan and you're getting towards the back end of the season, and this particular break is the one where it deprives you of action for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
But it was good to see Traore get three minutes for the Spanish under-21 outfit, but it's 3 minutes that might just gel into the club a bit tighter,
Yes,
do you think?
yes. I think it'll do his confidence no end of good, and it just he'll grow from that, and he'll see that he's getting recognition at Middlesbrough.
How important is it for somebody like Traore, do you think, to be playing at the Borough, outside of the limelight of the Premier League, which is where most of them want to be, but still gets picked for his
Very important,
country?
Dave, when you look at his progress, or let's say, you know, stop-start career he's had. Showed a lot of the signs early on in his Middlesbrough career. Didn't sort of materialise, but Pulis seems to be getting the best out of him, which is fantastic. And the guy confidently, you know, tucking those goals away, which we'd never seen in his armoury. Great. And as Alan says, to be able to get even 3 minutes to get recognition is fantastic for the guy and great for the club.
Yeah, he was world champions not so long ago, were they?
Yep.
Having a look at the international side, disappointing news, Jack Harrison picked up an injury. Stomach injury, something strange. He's obviously pulled something. We don't know how long he's going to be out, but I'd like to dig into somebody who didn't feature in internationals, Ben Gibson. Is it because he's no longer playing in the Premier League, or is it because he's not at the top of his game at the moment?
I think it's a bit of both. I think he's still got a hangover from the relegation, and also he didn't have any settled partners originally at the start of the season. I think he was helping to carry them. I think that affected his game as well, instead of allowing him to just, you know, concentrate on his own game.
It is an interesting one, isn't it, Graham? Because I still maintain. I mean, I'm a massive fan of the Borough, as you know, of course. But particularly at the back, Danny Ayala. When we came up to the Premier League that season, he was by far, in my view, player of the season. And he got the award from the fans as well. Yes. But he was destroyed by Aitor Karanka from a confidence perspective. I don't know what happened there between them, but he was just not the same player after then. So Gibbo's had to put up with Ayala early season, who was not in form. Then we had Dale Fry come in, youngster, great future ahead of him, but he dropped that one rick, didn't he? And was out of the team. Shot and went in. Yeah. He had a real dodgy first game as central defender. But Gibbo's had to carry all that. It must have. How much of an effect will it have had on him?
Massive effect on him, Dave. When you think about, like Alan said, he's still only a young kid. What is he now? 23, 24? Yeah. To have all that on his shoulders. And I think getting the call up was phenomenal for him and the club. Obviously, Southgate had nurtured him through the young team as well. And yeah, it has affected him. And I think we had a little discussion earlier when we were driving in tonight. The fact that, you know, in terms of how he was looked at in a close season and clubs were coming in for him, and wasn't it funny that, you know, our man Mr. Poulis was very interested at the time. That could have affected him. We've seen it happen over the years with players who've been talked about and touted, if you like, in the press. We don't know how much it is. It's got to have an effect, and he'll have been upset that he hasn't been involved. But look, he's a great opportunity now to show the people what a good player he is. And yeah, the Ayala partnership looks to be coming to fruition again, as good as it was a couple of years ago. So,
Al, is it as good as we saw 3 years ago?
I think it is. I think it is now. Yeah, Danny's definitely come back into form, and well, long may it continue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
While we're talking pulling the jerseys on for England or whoever, what about pulling the shorts on? I've got to tap off the old cap to Alan Phillips. He's just got married in South Australia. G'day, mate. Have a look at this. He wore his Borough shorts underneath his kilt for his wedding. What a guy. Yeah. We love him. And happy marriage and all that sort of stuff. Down under. Tell you what we're going to do as well. The Borough's been involved in supporting a local scout group in Carlton in North Yorkshire. Matt's been out with a camera to catch up with the work they're going to be doing in India and how the club's helped. Here's Matt's report.
I'm here at the Watson Scout Centre at Carlton, North Yorkshire, to speak to a group of scouts who have been raising money for over a decade for a very worthy cause in India. Charles, can you tell me a little bit about the project that you're raising money for over in India?
Yeah, it's for a rural school in a village about 50 kilometres from Delhi. The person who told us about it decided the children weren't going to school because there wasn't one, and that he would build a school, so we helped by raising some money. We've then been to visit the school, and it's continued by Explorer Scouts coming back, telling the younger ones about it. They've gone on raising money, and over the past 10 years we've managed to send £17,000 over to the school.
So you guys have been over to the project over in India. Can you just explain what you actually saw over there?
Well, we saw a lot of everything. We saw the cultures over there. We saw how people live their daily lives. It was a bit of a culture shock, really, to be honest with you. Completely different to how we live our lives over here. And there's a very, very large wealth gap.
So part of the project, you've taken over a load of sports equipment for the project. Can you tell me how that came about?
Most of it's been coming from Sainsbury's tokens, where everybody's collected them, and we've cashed them in, and we've got a load of bats, balls and all the rest of it. But some of it was generously donated by Middlesbrough Football Club.
What do you think this will mean for the project and the kids over in India?
It'll be a big boost for them. Everything they've got over there is, I won't say second-hand stuff, but it's really used. And I thought, some good kit, famous team, why not ask them? And they did, and they provided it.
And do you think this means that there's going to be a whole load of Indian supporters now for the MFC?
One never knows, it'll be at least 11 of them.
What do you think this means for the people over there in India?
They've got so little that anything that we can give them was a huge benefit to them, and things like the sports equipment, the football kits will go a huge way in allowing them to do these kind of activities, which we find commonplace in the UK.
James out and about with his mic and Matt out with a camera. Thanks for that one, fellas. Got to say hi to a few people here. Robin Davison. I can pronounce it, Robin. Say it slowly. I had a problem earlier. Robin Davison. Nice to have you with us, fellas. Palmo will beat Wolves upwards and onwards. Stu Wallace, Wolves top of the table but can't sell their allocation. Why is that, do you think? I'll be asking the fellas in the second half. Who else we got here? James Chapman, evening lads. And Robin Davison again, talking to Curtis last night. And he said, during training, Tony Pulis must shout Traore about 50 times. Right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be chatting Borough against Wolves after this. Welcome back. We've got Graham Ridley and Alan Puttick sitting there in signed Borough tops. We've also got some of these footies, haven't we? Hang on, let's see if I can get this up without dropping me computer and costing myself $2,500. Got some footballs which we'll give away as well. So the best comment that comes in on social media tonight on the show will get a ball to you, courtesy of Screwfix. Just put that down there before I drop everything. Just a quick reminder, if you still haven't sorted your travel out to the next 3 away games, RedArmy still has got its coaches and spaces available. Derby County is the latest addition to where we're going to. That's just gone up over the last 24 hours. But Burton, Sheffield United, Derby County, up on the website. You can book your places on the RedArmy coach if you haven't sorted out your travel. Fellas, we're talking Wolves. Well, we were talking Wolves earlier, and there's some comments coming in here. Palmo, as I mentioned, reckons we're going to beat Wolves, upwards and onwards. Wolves top of the table but can't sell out their allocation, Stuart Wallace. I haven't spoken to the club to find out the away allocation, but by what Stu's saying, suggesting they haven't sold out their allocation, that'd be a bit disappointing, wouldn't it, Al, if you were top of the table and fancy your chances and you don't sell your allocation out on a bank holiday weekend?
Definitely. I don't know what's gone wrong there. Whether because the game's on Sky, perhaps.
But that wouldn't stop Borough selling out an allocation.
Friday night. No, definitely.
We're going to Burton on Monday and that's sold out.
Obviously not true supporters do. We'd be there, wouldn't we? We'd be
the
there.
interest's waning already.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
They're obviously fearful of what's going to happen at the Riverside. Interesting one, Matt Doherty, the Wolves defender, last couple of days came out and said, without being cocky, and I'm quoting him here, without being cocky, we've just been the best. Would you agree with that? At top of the table, do they have to be the best?
I think they have been, to be fair.
Yeah.
They put in some great performances, so I think they're deserving of their position.
Apart from a couple of wobbles, they've been the most consistent on that.
Yeah.
But look, there's still 9 games to go.
Yeah.
Still a lot of things can change. There's 27 points. As I say, they've had a couple of wobbles. Yeah. Cardiff are very close now. There's only a couple of points.
There's only one result between them.
One result between them. Listen, we've got to forget about that. We've got to go out on Friday night and give it what for, haven't we? We've got to go for it. Enjoy the occasion and let's try and get 3 points. Then all of a sudden, that gap becomes closer. And if we can get some points off the teams above us for a change, who knows what can happen. And we've got 3 big ones, haven't we? 4, actually, if you count Sheffield United. I know they're slightly below us, but we've got some opportunities here. And I do feel a lot more confident, you might be able to tell by the tone of my voice, than I was 20 games ago.
It still eats away at me, that opening game of the season. You know, the 1-0 defeat at Molineux. Yes. And we started the season with all the high hopes.
We did.
And I've often dipped into the old empty bottle of beer when you get towards the bottom and you start thinking philosophically like you don't. How different it might have been had we won that opening game. Am I just living in cloud cuckoo land, or could it have made a change to the season? What do you reckon? No.
I don't think so. I don't think
one
game, especially it happened to be Wolves. I think the first game often is just a bit of a hit and miss, or it happens.
Wouldn't have made a difference to the season.
No, I don't think
Damage
so.
There, knocked their ending and given us the boost.
We've seen the difference that our man has made. Let's just hope that it goes all the way, and let's, as we mentioned earlier, let's see if we can do Huddersfield this year, Dave. Yeah. Because they came from nowhere, didn't they? With consistency and a hell of a...
There's always a dark horse, isn't there, in the Championship?
Yeah.
Always a dark horse, late run, gets themselves in there, and they're the form team in the playoffs.
Seen them over the years with the likes of Reading a few years ago, remember, and they came straight back down. We've seen it. Let's hope that this is a start again for us.
But we'll dig more into that. We'll get your thoughts too. Don't forget the best comment tonight will win a footy, courtesy of Screwfix. So get your thoughts in. Get them in. What we got here? I'll still like Robin Davison giving us the insider on the Borough training ground. So give us a shout. #RedArmyTV if you want to get your comment in tonight. What we'll do is we'll catch up on social media. Matt has been doing his bit to find out what you've been saying on Twitter and Facebook.
Red Army social media, sponsored by Person to Person Marketing. Okay, another week, another point for the Borough. So let's see what you lot have been shouting about on this week's social media. Starting off with 8 games to go. He was saying, "Find it embarrassing when I see old fans talking about other clubs' attendances when we have no right to take the mick out of anyone. Argue about how much better we are at football, but not attendances when we could and should be doing so much better ourselves." Michelle Besford said, "Happiness is watching Adama Traore go out on one of his runs." Aww. Mock Bravado, "Make no mistake, if Borough make the playoffs, it is because of Downing and then Traore. Randolph closes out my top 3. And finally, Besotted Brentford, they've stated, "Fair play to Borough fans on post-match podcast from the pub, who were very complimentary of Brentford FC, claiming was a good point for them." Right, keep your social media comments coming into us here at Red Army at Borough Red Army. Back to you at the studio.
Red Army social media, sponsored by Person to Person Marketing.
Thanks for that, Matt. John O'Taylor, leaving the Gazette. Thanks for all your reporting, Jono, on the Borough. I know they've got their differences at the moment, club and newspaper,
Yes.
but the Gazette have always been a bit of a stalwart reporting on the Borough, haven't they, over the years? Do you remember the likes of Cliff Mitchell?
Of course, another legend.
Yeah, Cliff, wasn't he? And then Eric Paler. And
Still around, isn't he?
Yeah.
We still
Eric?
read Eric's comments.
I still see him in the press room after games, so it's always good to see him.
Indeed.
But so good luck, Jono, wherever it takes you, mate. And he said he's gonna keep his fingers crossed and keep a beer charged for the Borough in the last 8 games. Just going back to that league table then, fellas. Just been having a look at it. Wolves and Cardiff seem to have stitched up first and second between them, so it's down to the playoffs. Fulham and Villa, 69 points apiece in 3rd and 4th place. I think they've stitched their place in the playoffs. So then all of a sudden it's Derby, 62, Borough, 62, Bristol City, 61, Preston, 60, Sheffield United, 60, Millwall, 58. So we've got 6 clubs now battling for 2 spots. Still confident?
Yes.
We're the dark horses, we're going to be,
Yeah,
we're in there.
Well, Sheffield United, I think, have peaked. They're on the way down, so they've...
And we can continue that. We can continue
We
that.
can. We can. The good thing is we're playing in quite a few of those clubs, aren't we?
Yeah.
Millwall have come in with a bit of a run of late. They sort of concern me a little bit, as we mentioned dark horses, but no, we're in a good position. We're in a decent run of form. It looks like Tony knows his main men and how he's trying to play the game. So we keep them fit and we continue, and nothing better there than getting 3 points on Friday night. To keep us
It would
going.
be fantastic to get. What sort of a boost would it give, Al, if you do the league leaders?
Well, it'd be amazing, just amazing. Such a boost. The team would get so much confidence. It would send a message out to the rest of the league, so that when we've got the other games coming up, they're going to be wary or more wary of the Borough. I just think it'd be phenomenal.
But it just goes to show you, doesn't it, that one slip, that 1-1 draw in the last game that we had.
Yeah.
And suddenly the little gap we had closed up. So you can't afford to slip.
You can't afford it. You know, Wolves have had a little wobble. Let's say. They've never been beaten many times this season. It's only about 4 or 5 games this season, isn't it, Wolves?
They've lost 6, I think.
They've lost 6 in total.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing, I hope I'm not putting the mockers on this one,
No,
Dave.
you won't.
The good thing is that we've still lost that 12, and it's still 12. Where we were looking quite away from the teams who'd only lost 5, 6, 7 and 8, we're almost coming in line again. So long may it continue.
Well, it's because we don't draw an awful lot.
We don't. We've only drawn about 6 or 7, hadn't we, at that point? So we're getting somewhere near. I just, obviously, from a Borough fan, we just hope it happens, don't we? And like we say, if we can do Huddersfield, it would be outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
It's Wolves, it's Burton, it's Karanka coming back, it's Sheffield United. We've got Derby on the horizon as well. We've got Millwall to come.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in our own hands. Would you rather have it that way than us be playing
yes, definitely.
bottom half teams who've got nothing to do?
No, because again, the pressure's on the Borough then. I think it's off us when we're playing the better teams. Definitely. It's proven that all season. And it's the same old Borough, isn't it? When we're nailed on to at least get a win.
Because we had that horrendous run-in at the end of the Premier League, and everybody knew before the ball was kicked in the Premier League, we had to have points in the bag because that last half dozen games were immense.
Yes.
This is the equivalent, isn't it, in the Championship? Burton, I mean, people will look at Burton and think that's the easy game.
You can't take any game as being easy
Banana
because we
skin.
can slip up. But I've done my usual thing I do this time of year, Dave. I've looked at the 12 or 14 teams. I've looked at the fixtures that are coming up for all of them. And I've got us worked out, if things go to plan, it would be Aston Villa in the playoff final. Now, I fancy myself.
Right, we're going to come back for predictions very shortly. Let's just give a plug to something that's happening. We mentioned Karanka coming back to the Riverside with Forest. The mailer at the match, Saturday the 7th of April this year, Borough against Nottingham Forest, outside the Riverside. The mailer starts at 12:30, closes for the game, so it shuts down about 2:45. Going to be back open after the final whistle. All sorts of stuff going on. It's Borough Fusion and the club who've got together to help put this together. Well done, fellas. You can hook a duck. Nice. Don't do it in Sheffield. Duck means something completely different. There's rides, freestyle footballers, dance mat. The important thing is, for me, food. And it really is multicultural sort of food, flavour and feel about the whole day. So that's the mailer at the match, starting at 12:30 prior to the Nottingham Forest game. Just about out of time, fellas. Al, what's your prediction for Wolves?
2-0 Borough.
2-0 Borough. Get in. Where you going?
I'm going to go just a cheeky little 1-0, and I think the little man will deliver for us, Traore.
I'll go 1-0 Borough as well, and it's going to come from Danny Ayala. I'll put money on it. Right, we're out of time, fellas. Thanks for your time. Thanks for yours as well. Catch you next week.